You and Mom have been on a lot of dozens of great trips. Can you tell me what the best one or two trips of your life have been?
In 1973, I think we took off to Spain, went to the bullfights. We went to Barcelona, Madrid, down to Cordoba.
You were with
Uh,
Dr. Soto.
yes, in Malaga, Torremolinos. Went across the Mediterranean to Tangiers. It was fun.
Wow, that is a good trip. Were you with a big group or was it just a small?
Small group. Actually, we were there for the International Neurological meeting, and it was nothing to it. But then Dr. Soto and his wife, and we drove around. Since he was from Cuba and he'd gone to school in Spain,
Yeah.
he knew all the routes and so forth. We had a great time.
Very good. Any other trips at that level in your mind?
I thought the one we took by train, we flew to Frankfurt, then flew to Berlin, took a train over to Warsaw, then grabbed a bus and went from Warsaw to, hold on, we went down to Czechoslovakia, Prague, and then ultimately down to Budapest. I think that was probably one of our best trips. It was a lot of fun.
Sounds like a nice trip. What amazes you most about society today, nowadays?
Some was their addiction to their cell phones. But I'm getting old. I am old. And these other people are going to cut society the way they're going to. And it will probably change a lot. Certainly my grandfather cannot visualize, neither of my grandfathers could visualize what it was like, what it was going to be like
Sure.
when I got old. And it'll happen to my kids and my grandchildren the same way.
What do you miss most about the old days?
Better fishing, I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a simpler life. We walked everywhere when I grew up. We had bicycles, we rode bikes, and that was as good as you needed. We didn't have bus service to the schools, nothing like that. Everybody walked. Wasn't bad. You knew the town drunks. You always waved to them. It was a fun place. Wasn't bad.
Looking back at your life thus far, what are you most proud of?
Getting through it. Getting through it. I think getting the board certification, was a key. Getting promoted to a professor while my father was still alive. You'd rather like that because he never got to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
He had to go to work to give money to educate his two younger brothers. I thought that was a little unusual, but maybe that's the way Germans were then.
All right. What did you discover in the last decade or two that you wish you had discovered sooner?
Got to think about that. I don't think there was anything that changed, really. We were old-fashioned. We didn't borrow money when we had to. We paid everything off. I wish I had known about a few stocks 40 years ago. I will tell you that. Although I own them now, I would like to have owned them in the 1950s and 60s.
Well,
And I'd like to have bought some more artwork, although we bought some. We could have bought some very good artwork at that time.
So you haven't moved around a lot. You lived in southern Missouri, and then you moved to St. Louis and lived out here in the suburbs the last 40 years or so. What's your favorite place you've lived?
think our first on Copper Hill Road was probably one of the best places. On the other hand, we had a lot of fun. We were living in an apartment in South St. Louis. It wasn't bad at all. I thought Copper Hill was fun. I know we used to have those wine parties when we were all young with the
Yeah.
neurosurgeons and the neurologist.
Yeah.
That was fun.
What were you doing? I'm 53 years old. What were you doing when you were 53?
Working hard, kid, working hard. I worked 7 days a week most times. But we did take some time off. We were taking a little time off. We didn't take any time off, though, until 1973. And then we took some time off. But it just worked hard, kept running things, stayed out of trouble.
Was the 7-day-a-week commitment, was that just the way the work needed to be, or was that your choice?
I expect it was my choice mostly, but on the other hand, I had certain covenants made with DePaul Hospital and the Missouri Baptist Hospital, and for later St. Luke's, that I would be available for certain tests and so forth, and so I had to hang around. That was why I liked the cabin, because the fact that if I got a chance to take off a couple of days, I could run right down there, whereas I couldn't run to California or Phoenix or Florida.
Right.
So it worked out pretty well.
What advice would you give the 40-year-old you?
Enjoy every day, try not to hurt anyone, have a good time.
All right. When did you know that you wanted to marry Mom?
Oh, it's like the first time I saw her. Yeah. She was head nurse on the 5th floor at Renard Psychiatric Hospital. That was fun. We had a good time. I had an Austin Healey at that time. I think she might have wanted to marry the Austin Healey and not me.
Well, it was a pretty fast turn of events, right? You met, you got engaged, and you got married all in about 6 or so months.
4 months.
4 months.
Yeah, I think it was about 4 months.
What do you remember most about your wedding day?
Well, the main thing I don't know is that my brother, Dayton, had not put on his pants. He couldn't get into these tux that he had rented. So we switched. I gave him my pants, and I put on the ones he had, and they were 4 to 6 inches short. I got married in a pair of practically knickers. Fortunately, no one else noticed or seemed to notice.
Oh my
A cold
goodness.
day.
So it was a cold day. It was January
4th.
4th. I'm thinking the year. It was 59, 58? 59, 1959. That's right.
We had a lot of fun. Went to Key West. It was a good time.
What do you wish you had made more time for in life so far?
What?
What do you wish you had made more time for in your life so far?
I'd like to maybe spend more time with my kids when they were young. I don't know. I might have had a negative influence on them. I think because I lived so long, I got away with a lot of mistakes which didn't have to correct.
What do you mean?
Well, I think that investment-wise, I made some bad mistakes when we were first starting out because the people who were advising me were thinking about themselves and not me. But later on, I caught on to how to do it, and we started doing pretty well then. But until 1980, we were just trying to keep the bills paid and raise the kids.
What's
I
your
did interviews for Masters and Johnson. Kelly liked that. It was a fun time for everybody.
what's your investing advice? What'd you learn?
Buy good stuff and don't try to time the market
Just buy it and hold it. Keep buying it.
if you can. Although there's a lot of people who advise against that. Unless you're with Goldman Sachs or somebody who's high on leverage, borrowing money, you better just sit tight and let the good stuff, let the money roll in as it comes on. Yeah, the only thing you have to sell is time.
What do you wish you had spent less time doing?
Whoa. I don't know. I spread around so much. I'm not sure. I think I'd have been more focused at the Missouri Baptist Hospital when it moved out here. Though I was spread between DePaul and the Baptist, I think I would have done less work at DePaul. Although I was head of neurology for 25 years there, and so I had to do a lot of work up there. So it worked out all right.
What family tradition do you cherish the most?
I wouldn't have ever, this family had much of a tradition. I suppose loyalty to fellow members. Blood is blood.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Anything else you want to share for the record?
No, I want you to know that I had 3 kids.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had Jonna, who's now in Calgary with Shell Oil, Richard, who's in Oklahoma, and Robert, who is here in St. Louis. I have a lot of granddaughters and 1 grandson. I don't hear much from the grandson, but the granddaughters are a pride.
All right. Thanks, Dad.